book began as a travel journal but blossomed into a beautiful book that's both a memoir and manifesto. Here to share more about Eventually a Sequoia, stories of art, adventure, and the wisdom of giants, we welcome artist Jeremy Collins. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me about the format of the book, because it's kind of an interesting experience that your readers will go along with you.
Yeah, you know, the genre is graphic memoir, which is kind of funny because you think graphic novel, comic book,
Sure.
memoir, just words, but I did pair them together with all the drawings that I created over the last decade in my travels.
And it's kind of your own personal story of those travels, but then a lot of lessons and messages about kind of the human condition, right?
Yeah, this book came after the previous one, which was based on rock climbing expeditions. Okay. And after the success of that book, I was invited down the Amazon, where I was prompted to observe, find a connection, and draw. That was my assignment.
Wow.
And through that process, I found a new way of storytelling from the drawings I was doing on these expeditions.
You've got a prop with you here today. Can you show me what you've brought along to share?
I brought you some show and tell.
Okay.
This is the style of journal that I take with me, and I'll ask for your help. You got to grab it with your thumb and pinch it. So they're all accordion style.
This is so cool.
Sketchbook. So I'm drawing small, but I'm drawing large at the same time.
Wow. So what media are we talking about here? Because the colors are so vibrant.
It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Anything in the garage, really. It's spray paint, acrylic paint, ink, watercolor, a little bit of screen printing, and I have stacks of these. So eventually they became a book.
Right. This is the beginning of the inspiration for what turns into an actual book. Tell me about the parts of the world that will join you on in this book specifically.
Well, each of them are prompted by a challenge, something difficult. And really, I come at it as a personal storyteller, first-person narrative, but I'm telling someone else's story. I'm going to the Amazon and telling the story of the tribes there, and they're dealing with hepatitis and malaria. I'm going to Nepal, and I'm telling the story of the first responders in the 2015 earthquake.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Bears Ears National Monument, Utah. Eventually, which it's in the title, eventually I arrive at the Sequoias of California, which are being threatened by so many different things, wildfire and beetle infestations. And I work with biologists. We climb to the top of these sequoias and take samples to learn more about what they're dealing with.
There's a lot happening. There's so much to unpack. Tell me about the title and the term sequoia, because you use it as more than just a literal tree.
Yeah, it started as just notes in a journal. Eventually a sequoia was really just this idea of hope, of eventually we arrive at our greatest self, which is a standalone thing, but as it got more literal, as I was having experiences in the sequoias, it became something true and something that felt close to me personally, rather than just a thought, rather than just a metaphor. So eventually a sequoia is the thought that any of us, from the smallest, can become our greatest self.
Yeah. What about using your art as a tool for connection? Obviously you use it to document things, but I imagine as you're traveling to these remote places and likely a language barrier exists, are you able to communicate with people in this way?
Yeah, you know, I find that art and music is the great communicator. It bridges those gaps. One of my favorite experiences throughout this was pulling out not only my sketchbook, but blank sketchbooks in these villages in the Amazon, and the kids would all be drawn to me, and like they know what to do. I mean, they don't have to teach them. They'd grab the crayons and writing utensils and start creating. And then in Nepal, we were doing murals on the side of the kids' schools, and again, they don't need to be told what to do. Give me that paint, and let's work on this together. How
do you put something together like this, where you've traveled so many places? I imagine you have so many drawings and notes and experiences. How do you put it all in one package? I imagine that was quite the tall task.
It was. You know, it starts with the manuscript, and my publisher, Mountaineers Books, my editor, Kate, said, "You've got the stories, write the book." Right. She waited and waited till I was ready. Yeah. And when I finally sat down, the words just poured out, and building the visuals was easy because I had all the content ready. It wasn't like a children's book or a comic book where the visuals came after the writing. They all already existed because they were created on location.
What do you hope people take away from this project, especially maybe somebody who hasn't been familiar with your previous work?
You know, I had to have a North Star while I was working on it. And that audience, that reader in my mind was the 20-year-old version of myself, or any young person who's interested in activism or making a difference in the world, utilizing creativity. And so I had that character lingering around me while I was working. And so I hope to reach that person who's going to do far greater things than myself or my peers that I share in the book do.
What great perspective. You have a really special event happening tonight. I know you don't want to give too much away, but it's much more than your typical book event, I think.
Yeah, I've tried to bring a little more than just a reading. Tonight will be music, hopefully some laughter despite it being some difficult subjects. I invite people to turn their phones off, to take a breath, to relax, and just listen for a minute and not be drawn into the chaos that's pulling us down all around us.
Always appreciate somebody telling us to put our screens away just for a few moments. It is always so beneficial. We've got all the information on our screen now for our viewers to follow along with. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Pleasure.
Great to chat with you. Okay, we'll have more information about Jeremy's book event on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.